How we doing?
Episode 11. And we got a problem because I had somebody text me today and say, "Hey, where's the podcast?" I was
Dum,
like,
dum.
we're a day later this week. So daylight savings time, we decided to, push it back a day. So
Brutal.
push it back.
Okay, so have you ever woken up an hour before your alarm? Wide awake?
Often I do that. And I'm like, should I just stay up? But I never do it. I just go back to bed immediately.
And how do you feel after that?
I always feel like crap.
Yeah, so that happened to me today at 4. I woke up just boom. Like, I wish I could wake up at 5 like that. Just ready to go, ready to rip.
It's something about the cycle, and then you don't get a full REM, and you're like 3/4 of the way through it when you wake up in an hour.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so
best case for me is 20 minutes, 7 hours, or 9 hours. That's it. Those three.
I think I need to go for naps. It's either 30 minutes or less or hour 45. I either got to go short or like really go for it. One or the other.
I can do that too. I can do an hour 45er.
But for nighttime, 6, 7.5. And if it's not those two numbers, if I get like 6.5, that's worse than 6. Or if I get 8.5, that's worse than 7.5.
6.5 is rough. That's a rough day for me.
It's 2-kid life, man.
I'm going to be cranky.
6 hours. Let's go.
Yeah. Hey, it's March Madness.
Let's go.
Who's going to win this tournament?
Can I tell you a story first?
Absolutely.
Best bracket I ever did. I watched no games that year, and I was out of the country. I picked 15 of the Sweet 16. I picked all Elite 8, all Final 4, and got the winner.
You serious?
Yeah, and I was in the Czech Republic the whole time. I watched no college basketball. This is your Kentucky one. And I got into the drawing. I was in the top 10,000 or the top 1%, whatever the number was for ESPN, and I got in the drawing to win over $1 million. And I did not win, but
that's solid. Good
I consumed no basketball that year at all. I was overseas. I couldn't find websites to watch it, and I'm like, Kentucky seems good. Florida looks like an Elite 8 team. UConn, yeah, ridiculous. But so I took that model.
Okay.
I took that idea, and now what I'm doing is I'm going to try that again this year with my bracket. So let's see if we can share that screen. Can you see my bracket there, buddy?
Yeah.
All righty. So
zoom in a little bit.
Which way you want to zoom in? Over here?
In? Yeah. Either way. Yeah, you're going to go full round on.
Yeah, I was going to say, you want to just skip to the Sweet 16, or how do you want to do this?
Go to the Final 4, and then let's work our way backwards.
My Final 4 are Iowa State, Arizona, Houston, and Creighton.
Ooh, I like the Creighton pick.
I feel like that. Mm-hmm. So I learned they're in Nebraska. I learned that this year.
Okay. Is his dad still? Is it still McDermott, the coach?
I don't know. I just saw 3 seed, and I saw
I just remember them getting big back when he was there. His dad was the coach. They may still be there. So you got Houston in there, Arizona, love that. Iowa State.
They stomped my pick. I told you I was going to pick Houston, and they stomped Houston last time in the championship game. So I was like, golly, they're really freaking good. But what's interesting with all the realignment, I don't even know. I was going to say 3 Big 12 teams in there, but I don't know if actually Arizona's in the Big 12 yet. Technically not yet in basketball. I think they still did Pac-12 one more time. Yeah. But you got 3 future Big 12 teams. And that's one thing I thought about with all the realignment, because my dad's a big Texas Tech fan, which is why I have them in the Sweet 16.
I think I got Tech in the Sweet 16 as well.
But one thing that I said to him, I was like, the Big 12 really ought to focus on being just a dominant basketball conference, because they got, like, you lose Texas, they're good most of the time, but they're kind of hot and cold, and then Oklahoma is very hot and cold as far as a basketball program. But you got some great programs in there, and then you're getting Arizona. So, I mean, I think they're just going to be a daggone powerhouse basketball conference here for the next few years. So there's my final four. As far as major upsets,
what are your shocker picks?
Shocker picks. I had Gonzaga versus Creighton in the Elite Eight. So Gonzaga over Purdue, just kind of a fun Elite Eight matchup there.
Yeah.
So that was kind of the big one. I had Florida versus Texas Tech in the Sweet 16. Kind of Florida over Marquette, Texas Tech over Kentucky. I have James Madison going in the Sweet 16 against Houston. Those are the main ones. I like James Madison. They had a very good conference record, 31-3. So I just pick winners. You know what I mean? Like, okay, this team wins a lot, so give me that.
I had a good feel for them as well.
I had Drake, even though I hate Drake the rapper, and but whatever.
Okay.
Yeah, nothing too. Other than that, those are kind of the big shocker ones. Purdue falling short yet again, but that's kind of the style they play.
What's your point total for the championship?
Yeah, 73-70. Houston over Arizona was my thought. So I did the quick math, and it came out to 143.
Nice.
Yeah. So there's my bracket. University of Houston, go Cougs.
Nice.
Avenging Phi Slamma Jamma. What do you got, Case Mac?
Let me try to share my screen here.
Share screen.
Tournament challenge. So, can you see it?
You do the dark mode, I see.
Yeah.
Yes, sir, I can.
So, my champion, I got a North Carolina Duke championship.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, our scores are pretty close. I was thinking 71-70. Their scores have been closer to like 84-73-ish range this year, the two times they played. But I think there's going to be a little more defense in the championship.
Some nerves.
Nothing crazy in here. UConn, I like them. I love their coach.
Mm-hmm.
Duke is, a little bit out of the ordinary, not for the basketball school, but for the year. And then I got the Gonzaga Bulldogs going all the way.
Oh, wow.
So
I didn't
have a lot of shocker picks. TCU beating Purdue, TCU beating Utah State.
We both got Purdue going out before the Elite Eight, so that's interesting.
Oregon was another one for me.
Mm-hmm.
And then I have Texas going pretty far.
Yeah, that whole side of that bracket there is looking a little shocking.
Similar to
shocking developments. 5 picks that'll shock you.
I had Drake winning because I do like the rapper.
Used to call me on my cell phone.
And then I got your Texas Tech boys in
beating Marquette.
I'm in the Elite Eight.
Let's go.
Yeah. I mean, they've done well previously in the tournament. They always kind of show out. So,
yeah.
Nothing crazy, though. North Carolina's going to win.
Typical.
And I was looking back. I thought they had won 2 years ago, but they lost. They lost to Kansas. The last time they won was 2017, I think it was. So,
who was on that squad? That's been a minute.
In 17?
Yeah.
Pretty sure that was the year Justin Jackson, Tomball kid, was on there. They had lost the year before
to Villanova in the buzzer
beater to Villanova, and then they came back the next year and won. I believe that's right.
Yeah, that's right. I'm looking at it right now.
Yeah. Justin Jackson. There was another guy on there, I think, who went to the league for a little bit. You got the box score?
I'm looking for it, but I can't really. I was looking to see who's in the 2012 tournament. I was looking at that bracket because I wanted to see. Because I had, Kansas, Ohio. Yeah, Kentucky over Kansas. Ohio State, Louisville, which later vacated. Florida, Baylor. Yeah, I just knocked it all out of the park with that year. But
you have your bracket saved?
No. I just remember I got it all right that year, and it was crazy. I just couldn't believe it. I was like,
oh, yeah. That was the Czech Republic year.
Mm-hmm. Hesky Chesky. That's how they say it's better in Czech. But I wonder what the rest of mine. It's always so crazy. You're like, oh my gosh, I'm in the top 3%, and then 4 people lose, and you're like, okay, I suck again.
Yeah.
Dang.
It's all about if you get to the Elite Eight.
Should we get a show bracket together? A Ben and Case show bracket? Invite some people in?
Yeah, we could go every other pick.
Let's see if we can get our followers to get a bracket together. Maybe we'll get a tournament going.
There we go.
$10,000 first prize from Casey.
Woo. Nice. Yeah, so much like yourself, I haven't watched a lot of college basketball. Like I mentioned, I'm more interested in the women's side this year. I want to see Caitlin Clark win, and I'm not just doing that for applause. I'm actually more interested. I'm actually more interested in what's going on. So I think that's going to be fun. I also will not watch a full game until the Final Four. So once we get there, I'll tune in. I'm going to watch the clips though. So
yeah, got daggone work. Got too much work to do.
Too much work going on, man. Enough about basketball for now. We'll come back later. We'll talk the league here in a little bit. We got the Players Tournament happened on Sunday. Your boy Scheffler, Scooter, got a 64 on Sunday. Wyndham Clark almost, whatever it's called, there was almost a playoff. He lipped out for birdie, didn't make it.
You want to see the video? I have it up.
Yeah, if you can show it, throw it up there real quick.
I don't see why I can't.
I think it's fine.
Yeah, we're gonna call this legal. And then I don't know how many times Oh
no!
Now, usually when I do this, it's 5 feet away, not 25 feet away. Oh
man.
I'm such a bad loser. I would just quit golf right then and there, probably. Be like, you know what? I'm done. I quit.
Dude, he wins. He's won a couple tournaments, and he's been in the running. Like, he's been, I don't know how many top 5, top 10s he's got this year.
Mm-hmm.
But he always seems like he's going to have a play like that. He's going to have a shot that, like, just gets him out of the win. But Scotty's insane, man. He's a closer.
And what I like about Scotty is that funky stance he has where he drives it and then he picks up his foot and slides it. Yeah. I'm like, that's something I can mimic just because I'll fall out of the shot half the time. And
every time I watch him drive, I'm like, I could do that with my feet.
Slide it hard to the right.
I don't know if I can hit it 320, but
feet.
I wanted Shoffley to finish it off.
Yeah, he's always in contention.
He's my top 3. Him, Justin Thomas, and Ricky Fowler.
Oh, I would love Ricky Fowler to win a major.
3 favorites. So
or just win something.
When they do well, I'm like, yeah, right on. So I wanted to see him finish it. He shot a 70 on the last day. Can't do that and win.
Now when people are going 20 under.
Yeah, but interesting tournament. Did you watch it at all?
I only saw the last putt of the tournament. And what's interesting too, the ratings were down quite a bit. Like that's one thing they're seeing now across the board with all the golf wars and a lot of the big names. It's like I loved Jon Rahm. I still do. Yeah. And I would tune in to watch him because I like the way he plays because that's actually my swing style. Once again, not 320, where he doesn't really do a full kind of a full backswing, kind of does a 3/4 backswing and then smacks it. And now he hits it like 100 yards further than I do. So it's pretty good at the old golf ski. But, without the big names, without a lot of the big names, or with the big names playing in live, it's just not as interesting. I don't know how to put it. Like, it's just not as interesting,
Yeah. Koepka and then DeChambeau for sure are getting a lot more camera time, I guess, kind of on social media and stuff with the live, especially because they're shooting like 59s over there. Like, I don't know if they're playing.
It's got to be easier, right? When everyone's 28 under.
Yeah, I don't know what the approach is. I guess they're playing from the white tees.
Playing from the ladies' tees.
Yeah, playing from the reds. But yeah, I saw a snippet today that I should have sent it to y'all. It was a picture of Phil Mickelson and Tiger Woods. It was like if there was a Ryder Cup format tournament right now with PGA versus Live Golf, how well would that do from a rating standpoint?
Oh, I'd be all about it.
Yeah, I think it'd be fun. They just got to lighten up a little bit. So just make it competitive. Like you're saying, let's get this league thing going against each other. It's like WWE, Raw, and SmackDown.
Yeah.
And then they have what's the big event called where they end up all fighting each other?
Was that the Royal Rumble or
WrestleMania.
WrestleMania. Oh, duh. Sorry, I was talking about something else there.
Have a couple events.
Love to see
the Masters. The Masters is fun. Keep the majors. Keep doing all the little tournaments, and then have 2 or 3, Ryder Cup type things.
Heck yeah. Well, I would love to see the Masters in person. I put my name in for the drawing, but I did not win.
Well, that's unfortunate.
First try. I was like, oh man. So I'm gonna try again next year. I'd also like to play Augusta. That'd be super fun.
That'd be incredible. Yeah, that should be we should set that as a revenue goal. If we make any money, we spend it on we're gonna go to the Masters.
Green fees for Augusta National.
Or the Super Bowl. It's probably, if I had to guess, one round's $15,000.
Well, the thing about it is,
but the sandwiches are like $2.
Yeah, the sandwiches are super cheap.
Yeah, that was a joke about the whole tournament because they make the food and like the concessions and all that reasonably priced because of how much people pay to like stay around there. Supposedly, like the Airbnbs and the hotels and whatnot, the rates are insane.
Yeah, and then like there's the Masters wants to buy this one couple's house, and they're like, "Nah, we're good." So what I found out is it's like $50 to play or free, but you got to be a member. Membership is between $20,000 and $40,000.
Okay.
So, but if a member invites you, it's cheap. So that's where you get the. Hey, buddy, remember me? No. What about now?
I bet they keep a close eye on that.
Those exclusive clubs.
Yeah.
Let me.
This guy doesn't look like your friend.
What? Why? What?
Whatever.
What?
Yeah, he roots for the Tide, but we'll let him in.
Dude, I'll wear whatever you want me to wear to play Augusta within legal reasons.
Yeah, I'd wear a banana hammock for sure. If I had one. I think I sold mine.
Liar.
But
about selling it, not about wearing it.
Hey, NBA around the league. I have 3 things.
What do you got?
Well, they're random, and then we can talk about the Kyrie game winner and this will kind of lead into that.
Mm-hmm.
The first one is I think Aaron Gordon is starting to become my new favorite player over Drew Holiday.
Really?
And there's something about that third best guy on the team that
I was going to say.
I've kind of like attached myself to the last 3 or 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a unique spot because Gordon was number 1 on his previous team. Drew Holiday's always kind of been maybe a number 3 guy.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's the sweet spot. And obviously they both won. Drew won with the Bucks in 21 or whatever year it was. And then the Nuggets won last year. I think it's great for your team to have. And I love watching Gordon play now because he doesn't have to be the number 1 guy. He can just like hang out in that little dunker position.
Mm-hmm.
And he can play his role and, grow his hair out and have fun.
Yeah, I was going to say every great team needs a hair guy.
Yeah.
So the Bulls had Rodman, and that's when they were the greatest team ever.
Mm-hmm.
The Cavs had Verjao for a while. Who else? Let's see here.
Birdman?
Birdman, yes. I was going to say.
Birdman
had Warriors have? The Warriors had they had a couple of hair guys. They had Uncle Sean for a while. Loved his hair.
They had Mo Spates. He had like a mole on his.
Yeah,
I called him Mole Spates. That was his kind of thing, but yeah, Troy Polamalu among others. I know he wasn't in the NBA, but
Dirk always had the hair, the long hair, the greasy long hair.
My other 2 was Clay's killing it off the bench. I think they finally figured that out. He's going to be like Ginobili for the next 5-6 years if he can last that long. And then my final thing is I watched the Mavericks and the Suns. Mavericks and the Nuggets, on Sunday. I think the Mavs are scared of the moment. I know they won on the game winner.
Mm-hmm.
But the last 5 minutes of the game bothered me.
Tell you, they just were tanking it. Now you got to also
watch the end.
I've been listening to the games, and I did hear the end of it with a left-hand floater, and it was freaking dope.
Yeah.
The thing that gets me with the Mavs, and that last night against the Spurs was the same thing. Luka was horrible last night. I still got a triple-double because that's who he is. But he was just bricking shots left and right. So he ended up with 18 points, but his shooting was awful. And Kyrie played great. And there was a play late in the game where Luka passed up a shot and passed it instead of Maxi Kleber, who passed up the shot and you're like, okay, why are you passing it to Kleber? Mm-hmm. Deontay Exum played great and hit Luka made another one where he passed it off to Exum, who hit a three. But I'm like, still would rather have cold Luka than hot Deontay Exum.
Right.
Hit the shot. So yeah, it seems like they're just in a little funk, but
it's weird. It's like
they still won.
They dominated the game for 43 minutes, and then
Mavericks, Nuggets.
Yeah, when they were playing the Nuggets, and it was almost like you ever been watching people play, or you ever been playing a sport and you're kind of beating somebody and you almost kind of feel bad? You're like, hey, where's the challenge or something? Like,
where's the juice?
Yeah, that's what it looked like. They're like, are we supposed to be winning by 12 points right now? Like, they got to close it out, put the foot on the neck. So, and Luka can do that. He's that guy.
Luka and Kyrie are both. You got two elite players.
What did you think about the shot? It's freaking insane.
That was great. That was a great shot because it was the Nuggets did everything right. So the way the play was designed, you set a pick. You're supposed to come around, just grab and shoot. It'll catch and shoot. But then the Joker came out and took the shot away. So he had to take a dribble, and then he's in no man's land doing kind of a fall away, fade away, one-handed, left-handed. If I'm the Nuggets, I'm like, yeah, that's the shot I want you to take.
Oh yeah.
And he just buried it. So, I mean, it's hard to be like, oh, it was a good loss. There's no such thing because you played to win the game. But as far as losses go, like if you're going to lose like that, okay, you know what? Mm-hmm. That happens. So
they'd gotten up. I think they were up by 3. Then Luka hit they kind of got the 2-for-1 with 30 seconds left. Luka drains a 3. Nuggets.
That was the other thing. Who was it? Murray who missed the open shot at the end?
Yeah, he had a shot in the lane.
Footer with 10 seconds left. Let me try to get my thoughts exactly right. And 5 seconds left, and he missed it. It was an open shot. And people might complain and say, "Oh, we should have held the ball longer." But I mean, if you got the open shot with 5 seconds left, you take it, even though that left the Mavs with 2 seconds left. But I don't know, man. You're the guy. You have the shot. Take the shot. So I thought the Nuggets played it great. Sometimes you just don't have it, and they didn't seem to really have it that night. I'm not complaining from a Mavericks perspective. You got to win the game in front of you, but
absolutely.
Shoot, I don't know if either team's really super mad about that game.
Nah. It's a great game.
Great game. Yeah. 5 seconds left. He pulls up a 15-footer, has it, and bricks it. And Mavs get it, call timeout. So, yeah, nothing to really complain about. Loved the game from Mavs perspective. They're actually not playing great, and they're winning. So that's kind of nice. The Warriors they beat, and they didn't play great. They didn't play great against the Nuggets at the end, and then they were shaky against the Spurs, and then, of course, lost to the Thunder. So to win 3 out of 4 where you're like, we're not playing great basketball, that's a good problem to have.
Not bad. I was looking at their remaining schedule, I think yesterday, and I was like, man, they could win their last 15 games. Yeah,
it's super soft because you got the Jazz twice, the Kings twice, which is great because you're chasing them.
Yeah.
You got the Pistons again. You got the Warriors twice. You got the Rockets, the Hornets. So yeah, you got how many games we got left? 2, 3.
14, 15 maybe. I mean, if you go 10-4 and you split with the Kings or you beat them twice, you're going to be the 5 seed.
Yeah, 13 games left. So yeah. 10-3, and you split with the Kings, you're going to pass them.
Yeah,
it's doable to win those 10 games. I don't know. Like I predicted all along, the Mavs get the 5 seed. I think I underestimated the Pelicans. They're actually.
I didn't realize the Pelicans were playing so well either. Zion's going off. He lost 25 pounds, and they've been on fire. I love CJ McCollum though. He's point guard, so he's a killer. He's a great team guy.
Who did he play for before? Was he on the Blazers before?
Yeah, he was with Dame.
Oh, okay, that's how I know him.
Yeah, and then he's got that famous picture where he's like 5'3" in high school, playing against like a 6'7" guy. It's freaking hilarious.
Well, he definitely grew into his.
Yeah, he's doing all right now.
Genes. I don't even know, where was I going with that. Like, what was I saying? You do that, you're like, what am I saying? You're halfway through a sentence. You're like, how am I going to save this one? Well, what I meant, baby, was that the way I see it is I picture it like this. Picture it like a portrait.
I'm just
lost.
Good habits.
Good habits. Just think of it like a book, a habit book. Nuclear habits, big habits that change your life.
Ooh, wait! Yes. Quick book plug. Ooh, that could have been goofy. Quick butt plug.
Book.
I'm reading this book right now called The Book of 5 Rings.
Oh, nice. Japanese.
You ever heard of it?
I've read it twice.
Yeah, first time reading it. Interesting. I'm on the Earth chapter right now. So we'll see what I learn from it. It's, what's his name?
Couldn't tell you what the book was about, to be honest, right now. Like, you read a book.
It's a samurai from the 1600s, and essentially he's teaching about what he learned in life through jiu-jitsu, through fighting. But I think he was like sword fighting to death. So his is pretty serious. He lasted a while though. He won like 100 matches or something like that. So
he lasted long enough to write a book, and that's what we really want to know. It's like, okay, this guy's the expert.
Yeah, he died when he was 16. Yes, there you go. So, little book plug there. Read it. I'm going to finish it. It's one of my 20 that I was challenged to read this year.
Let's go.
It will be number 2 for me. So,
let's go. You ever read
Gotta love number 2.
Who does number 2 work for?
Hey-o.
You ever read the Art of War?
No, I haven't. Is that by Tom Clancy?
Sun Tzu, I believe. So Sun Tzu. It's a general from
Acts of War. That was Tom Clancy.
That was Tom Clancy.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is roughly the 5th century BC. It's an ancient Chinese military treatise. Treatise. Okay. Once again, what word is that?
Feces. So
but Bill Belichick, Bill Belichick reads it every year before football, and I read it every year before fantasy football.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite books.
You got
good. It's pretty good.
The battle is won before.
It's pretty good. It's pretty funny.
Before the war begins, the battle's won. Before that, like what? Can you speak up, Coach? I'm to Seattle.
Can't camera. Hey, basketball related again.
Yes.
Big basketball week for us. What number 1 team in the West? We've talked about them, but we both haven't really talked about them. The OKC Thunder.
She had a need to feel the thunder.
What's going on with these guys? Why are they so good?
So love Sam Presti. So he's the GM or general manager of the old Thunder.
Uh-huh.
And what I kind of did, I don't know why I get these wormholes. Like I do these little deep dive. So there's been 4, as far as I'm concerned, and possibly Wikipedia is concerned, there's been 4 iterations of the Thunder. This is the 4th one we're on.
Ooh, I would have guessed 3, but no, 4. Yeah, 4 sounds right. Tell me what the 4 are.
So the 4 iterations of the Thunder, you have the Young Thunder,
Yep.
where they're building up to the championship, and the Young Thunder become the championship Thunder, and that's Durant, Westbrook, Harden, Ibaka. All those drafted within like 2 years of each other, which is crazy. I think they got Westbrook.
They got to the championship KD's 5th year.
Was that 2012? Yeah.
Yeah.
So KD got drafted by the Sonics, and I guess they moved right away. But then they drafted Westbrook, Ibaka, Durant, and Harden.
Yeah.
And got to the championship, and then it kind of peaked there, obviously. Then they kind of hung around. And then in 2016, this ended the era because they blew that 3-1 lead against the Warriors.
Yeah.
Against the 73-win Warriors. And then, of course, Durant books it. And so that Thunder era, obviously they're most successful to date. You know, you have 1 championship run and I think 2 Western Conference final runs on top of that.
Yeah, they lost to the Spurs in the Western Conference Finals in 2014, which was KD's MVP year. And then I think, from what I could tell, I think if I remember, 2015 was like a gap year. I think he got hurt.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So here's what. Yeah. Okay. They lost to the Mavs in the Western Conference Finals in 2011. That's what I remember because I'm like, we beat them.
Got it.
And then they beat the Spurs, but lost to the Heat. And then 2012, there was an injury, and they lost to the Grizz in the second round. 2014, lose to the Spurs in the Western Conference Finals in 6.
Yeah.
Then 2014-15, kind of that gap year. And then they were up 3-1 on the Warriors and lost that one.
So they had 3.
They had 4 Western Conference Finals.
4 Western Conference Finals.
Appearances and 1 final appearance in 6 years.
Gosh.
And like, this is the way to build the team, man. Like, that's the crazy part is they really did a great job team building. And then, you know, like I'm always thinking, okay, when Luka leaves, blah, 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 you're going to have to blow it up. It'll take years to rebuild. Well, they didn't take years to rebuild.
They were quick.
Yeah, that's the thing of, I was like, son of a gun, you know, they actually really did a nice job because so then what had happened was you have the second iteration, which is the Westbrook Thunder, where they get Westbrook, PG-13, Carmelo, and Steven Adams. And that didn't go very far. You know, that
was about a 2 to 3 year experiment, and I think they lost in the first round every time, right?
Yep.
3 years straight.
That's correct.
Interesting.
So then they trade Westbrook to where'd they trade him
Houston.
To Houston and got Chris Paul. That's what it was.
I forgot. Yeah, they did have Chris and Cliff.
And Cliff, but he played like Cliff. Actually, he played great. He
didn't play bad.
I don't like Chris Paul as a basketball player, but he plays really well when he's the alpha and the team's trash around him. Like he does a good job building the team up. And then at that time, they traded PG-13 for SGA and Gallinari, if I said his name right. And they got Dennis Schroeder on that team, who they traded to the Lakers.
Right.
And so that's the third era, the rebuilding Thunder. They traded Steven Adams to, and let me show you a fun picture. Because they had all these draft picks, you know, first rounder after first rounder after first rounder. And so then they get, so here's, I don't know the exact number, but here's like in the next few years, they have a pick swap between them and the Clippers. They get an unprotected first from the Clippers. They have a top 4 protected from Houston. This is next year. They have a protected top 10 from Utah, and they have their own. They have 4 first rounders next year. So they're the best team in the league, and they have 4 first rounders next year. 2025. They can do a pick swap with LA, the Clippers, or Houston. They have a top 6 protected from Philly. They have a top 14 protected from Miami. And it's like, you got 3 seconds. And then the next year, you have 3 more unprotected picks. And then the next year, you have 2 more. And it's like, so they're the number 1 seed, and they have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 first rounders.
In the next 3 years?
3 years, yeah. And so it's almost like they have too many. Like they traded Dallas a future first-round draft pick for one of their current first-round draft picks because they have too many, because their starting five is set. Like they got Chet, they got Giddey, they got Dort, they got SGA, they got Jalen Williams. They got all this talent around them that's like, I don't know, like this is the way to build a team. So Sam Presti, 2 thumbs up.
Yeah, I don't know where I think they didn't think they'd be here this year. I nerd out during the whatever they call it, the opening press conferences, like before the year started. There's a good on YouTube you can get on there. Sam Presti did like a 45-minute monologue on like the first 15 years of the Thunder. I haven't watched it in a while. And he talks about like where they're at and where they're going. It's really good if you get some time to watch it. I don't remember everything he said, but essentially he wasn't thinking, because they were the 10th seed last year.
Mm-hmm.
And the biggest difference was just getting Chet this year.
Yeah.
I don't think he was like, we don't want to rush anything. We want to continue to build the team. I don't think they thought they'd be the number 1 team in the West right now. So they're ahead of schedule for dang sure. It's like the second, I think it's either the first or second youngest team in the league. And then you got all those draft picks. That's a shitload. I didn't realize they had 11. And
so many. They own the draft the next 5 years. It's crazy. Because, so one of my friends, she used to work for the Thunder as a play-by-play replay coordinator. And so she couldn't watch the Mavs games, but she could watch the Thunder games. She goes, yeah, SGA is really good. She was telling me like 2 years ago. It's like, This guy's really good. And so did I know how good? No, of course not. But now I know. I'm like, oh, geez. Let me show you something, too, that I liked. I liked the fact that he, the coach of the Thunder, in the video you sent me, said he talked about not a system, but flow, I think he said. So that's what I see on this play. Let me show you one play. You got the pass, and like look at all the people moving. Chet's moving, the other guy's moving. He falls down, open shot, dives in, corner 3, wide open, bucket.
Dang.
Their movement against the Mavs was so good.
Yeah.
The movement in the video was so good.
Sweet. I looked at that. It referenced an article from The Athletic. I think I could read like half of it or something without subscribing.
Dang paywall.
But they also, the coach was talking about how like essentially they are creating positionless basketball. Like all the players can dribble, pass, and shoot. And he's got a cool story too. I looked at his Wikipedia. He didn't play college basketball or anything. He like was good in high school, but not good enough.
Right.
He was like a grad assistant at UConn, or he was a team manager for like 4 years. And then he went and coached underneath your boy, Billy Donovan at Florida. Went from Florida to coach the OKC G League team. And he coached that team for 5 years and then got promoted to the head coach.
Wow.
So he's young. He's like 37 or 36, something like that.
Dang.
Young head coach, but he's kind of got like a similar track record of like Nick Nurse, which I like that about him. He coached overseas or something, but then he was also a G League coach for like 5 years. I like when systems like bring up a coach like that. It speaks to OKC's like the best. I guess they're the best in the world other than the Warriors.
Yeah, it's hard to argue with the results. They haven't won the championship yet, but to be able to, because they're not a big market by any means. Like no one, like LeBron signs with LA and Miami.
Right.
He doesn't sign with Oklahoma City. So you're not going to attract a lot of big name free agents, I don't think. I mean, I don't know. But
I'm curious what they do with the picks. I mean, I guess, like you're saying, the roster is almost kind of starting to get crowded.
Just trade them for future. I mean, unless it's like a top 10 pick, like just swap it for a 6 years from now pick or whatever the limit is. Like, hey, you want first this year to a rebuilding team? Give me a first in 5 years.
Bring KD back. Why not? I wouldn't waste draft picks on that. But
yeah, I was gonna say I think Phoenix would probably say yes to that pretty quick.
We'll give you 11 first rounders for Kevin Durant. Deal.
Would you trade 11 first rounders, give up Luka Doncic for 11 first rounders?
Absolutely.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, that is a lot, but yeah,
I mean,
it's a whole new team.
Money. It's a whole new team. Well, maybe. I would probably do it. Yeah, I'd say, all right.
It's going to be interesting to see the next couple of years of free agency because the new CBA's got a lot of hard caps on it. And so it's going to be really interesting because like the Suns are stuck with their team. They're stuck and they're not that good. Like I think they thought that they would be much better with KD and Booker.
Recently, they've been showing a lot of the holes in the defense. Like the Bucks put up like 140 on them on Sunday. And they're the big three thing kind of only worked with the Celtics and the Heat because they had LeBron.
I was going to say.
I haven't really seen another one that's been put together and won a championship.
Well, you have to actually have
OKC was the first one, but we didn't know it was the big three back then.
Bradley Beal, has he played? Like, how many games has he played?
He's been spotty, and he's it's hard to have three ball-dominant guys.
Yeah, he's played 40 games this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never understood that trade. I understand getting KD. I just feels fine, but yeah, like you said, just ball dominant. It doesn't seem to fit with the other two.
I mean, I still have them. I think they could go pretty deep. It's probably going to be similar to last year. They'll go as far as they can and then they run into the Nuggets. It's like, hey man, we got an incredible couple players too, and we have a good offense. That's the next one for me. I think I want to dig into their history with Malone being there for he's been there for 10 years.
The coach?
Yeah.
Huh.
So I think they quietly built that thing up to what it is.
Yeah, there was a Taco Bell commercial playing when Jokic was taken. Taco Bell commercial.
Second round, right? 40 something.
Yeah. Killing me. So you think OKC? I'm going to go ahead and say that I think they're the best team in the Western Conference. I still think not this year. Like I'm starting to like hesitate, but I've been calling the Clippers all year. So, but man, I tell you what, that team, they flow defensively, they switch. So, I mean, like if a team like the Mavs can hit all their shots, because the Mavs blew them out a few weeks ago and then but like when I was watching that game, it was very clear to me that OKC was the better team. Like you're just watching the game, you're like, that team is better. There's no doubt about it. It was, they would get up 10, the Mavs would bring it back. They'd get up 10, the Mavs would bring it back. But like by the end of it, there was no doubt in my mind who was winning. And when you have that much depth and everyone scores 10 to 15 points a game, and SGA, he had 31 and I barely noticed him. That was the thing. It was like quiet, perfect, subtle basketball. And he was getting to the line a lot. And just like, there was nothing in his game that like Luka dominates the ball. SGA doesn't. He just hits the shot.
They have great flow and everybody knows what they're doing. I think I was talking crap about them about a month ago saying I don't think they'll get out of the first round. I think they can get out of the first round.
You think so now?
Yeah, I think they'll get out of the first round, and we'll see what happens from there. I'm not going to count them out, though. I don't think they can go the distance.
Not this year.
I think it takes if they did, that'd be shocking. But I think, they're not going to beat the Nuggets if they run into them. I don't know if they could beat the Lakers. They'd beat the Lakers out of pure, just because they're going to play defense.
people used to say, this is one thing I've thought about too. Like, people are like, defense is a lot about effort. And I'm like, I don't know if it is anymore. Like, the way the ball movement is, if you get, because it's like a cycle of inevitability. There we go. That's the word I'm looking for. You drive, and then two guys come in, then you kick it. He crashes, kick. Eventually, you're going to work it around to where a guy has an open shot. And the shooters are so good, it doesn't matter how hard you work.
All right.
Like, if the shooters are on, it's on. So that's one thing I've noticed about the NBA is the shooting is so good.
The shooting's insane. They've been changing the defensive stuff though recently with the way they're calling the games. They're calling less fouls, and supposedly there was a memo sent out by the league that was like, "Hey, we're going to start calling less fouls. We want more competitive games." And the last couple games I've watched have looked more like playoff games. It feels kind of more like a 2007, 2008 regular season game where it's a little bit more intense.
Yeah, and I like that.
That's why I text y'all trying to be funny. I don't know if you saw that a couple days ago.
Which one was?
With the NBA not being as soft on defense, maybe the NFL does it. Is this a sign of the times? Are people not going to be as soft anymore? So
soft.
Some softies. Want to end this on a light note, something you had brought up. We're going to talk a little bit about death.
A very, very light note. So I'm going through the Harry Potter series. Spoilers ahead. Ding, ding. You've been warned. And,
wait, so what made you think about this?
Because I hate the fact at the end of the Order of the Phoenix that Sirius Black dies.
Okay. Yeah.
I hate that death.
I don't want to talk about it either. It hurts.
It does hurt, and there was a lot of unsaid and undone things. Like, it would have been better if he had died later on after him and Harry had a good relationship and done a lot of things together. But Sirius, for those of you who have not read the book, Harry thinks Sirius betrayed his parents to Voldemort. Turns out it's not true. Sirius is his godfather.
Yeah.
Sirius is on the run, so he doesn't get to hang out with Harry that much or talk to him that much. And then Sirius is locked up in his own house for a long time. Harry thinks Voldemort has kidnapped Sirius and is torturing him, so he goes to try to rescue him, but it's a trap. And then Sirius comes to rescue Harry, and then Sirius gets killed. Like, all these things of, like, you were just waiting for them to get close in their relationship and to be the father figure, and it just never happened. And that's the part that sticks with me. It's not like this honorable, great death. I mean, it is. Like, you died fighting to save him, but, like, man, it just...
That's life, bro. You're like, what if they had a little bit more time?
Yeah, and, like, what if
they could have been besties?
Exactly. And
they could have got coffee on Tuesdays.
On Tuesday. The club going up. So that one just, like, annoyed. Like, that one hurts me because, like, there's, like, this emptiness of what could have been within the story. Like, a lot of other characters die in the books, and you're like, okay, like, that was a good death. Okay. Yeah, like, once again, the books have been out since I was like, and the movies have been out at least 15 years.
You're not saying anything new here, but
like when Snape dies, spoiler alert, or Dumbledore, you're like, okay, those are cool deaths, good timing. We've had a lot of their story.
That was surprising.
Yeah.
Who was mine? I had two of them. The fictional death that hit me the hardest. Number one was Mufasa.
Oof.
Yeah, man. That was...
Mufasa.
I think that's tough for everyone. It's just... And by his own brother. Scar, man. He really did it to him. But, the scene where Simba, like, rolls up on him after, and he's like, man, that's a gut-wrenching one. And then my other one was Brooks from the Shawshank Redemption. Did you ever watch that?
Yes, Brooks was
the old man, who gets released back into society. He's kind of like institutionalized. The world's moving too fast for him, and he ends it. He ends it on himself, kicks a chair out, And I was just like, I remember watching it for the first time, and I like paused the movie, and I was like, I need to go walk around for a little bit and then come back and finish this. But that was but Mufasa for sure. That golly, man, I still miss that guy. You know,
that's a tough one.
In the water. When they see him in the water later, though, that's pretty freaking crunk. When Simba sees him, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Comes back and then he's in the clouds.
He's in the clouds. That's what I remember.
He's in the clouds. Yeah.
Okay.
First off, Rafiki's like, you see his picture in the little pond or whatever.
Okay.
And then the next thing you know, you look out and he's a cloud.
The other one, the second one for me, you ever read the book Brave New World?
I have not.
So it's sort of it's so good.
Coming to age?
No, it's a dystopian movie or a bit dystopian.
Oh, wow.
They made a crappy show about it, but it's a dystopian novel published in 1931, and it's talking about huge advancements in reproductive technology and like psychological and manipulation and conditioning, and everyone's
based in what year?
It's based in the future. It's a futuristic world state. I don't know exactly what, but it's Brave New World. And because he's talking about, Brave New World, Brave New World. And like everyone's taking these pills for anxiety whenever they feel any emotion. So it kind of hits me like, oh, geez, that's modern society. But at the end of it.
That's where we are now.
Yeah. So Brave New World, at the end of it, one of the characters ends it. And it talks about how he's swinging and like his feet point this way, that way, this way.
Oh man, you can just visualize it.
Yeah, and it was written so well. And that one stuck with me for a long time because it's just like I can see it and I can hear it. And there's like, whew. And then the lighter one, Bubba from Forrest Gump.
Golly.
Forrest, I want to go home. That one stuck with me.
I want to go home now. Dang, man. Yeah, he's sitting there shaking.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the last you reminded me, I don't want to go through the topic, but did you ever read The Kite Runner?
Kite Runner? No, I did not.
I had to read it my senior year of high school. That was there's a vivid scene in there too. That's one of the only books. Yeah, when you read something and you can picture it in your head and it's that well written, that kind of stuff, it just sticks with you.
Yeah. It's a gift for writing. It's a gift for writing when you can write a scene that like graphic and you feel icky, but then you're like, that is amazing writing.
It's both. Yeah, it's all of it. You're like, that was incredible. Like that was an experience reading.
Mm-hmm.
Which is interesting. You get into the author's brain for a little bit.
I tell you what, the one thing in the Harry Potter series, but the one thing that kind of separates, and a guy I worked with kind of said this too, if you can write evil really well, you can write a real engaging books because the bad guys in Harry Potter, and if you think of like any great movies, like the original Star Wars movies, the bad guys are real compelling and they're dark. And like, that's what makes a great story is how good the villains and the protagonists are written. Because you're like the good guys, so like I like reading Ayn Rand's book, like Atlas Shrugged, but her heroes are too perfect. Her heroes are the Ubermensch. They're like these perfect human beings. And so the heroes are like the savior types. You're like, okay, but the bad guys are real. And the bad guys are well written. And you're like, that's a well written bad guy.
Bad boys.
What you gonna do?
What's going on what you looking forward to this week / weekend?
Palm Sunday. So the one that recognized Jesus as Lord in Jerusalem as he should have been.
Hey, I'm gonna check out your article.
Oh,
I saw that. Or your post. Sorry.
Yes.
We can post it in this description. That's what I'm looking forward to. I'm going to read that today or tomorrow.
Sounds good.
Probably tomorrow.
What you got going on this week?
Not a whole lot. Chilling. I'm trying to get one afternoon. Usually it's on Wednesdays, which is today. maybe it'll be Friday this week to get out and play 9 with a buddy of mine.
Let's go.
Last spring we played every Wednesday, which was awesome. So I got to get out there. I'm hungry for it right now.
Let's go.
Get out there and shoot under 40, boy.
Knock it out. All right. Let's do this thing. I got a call in 2 minutes ago, so I got a jet.
All right, brother. Peace.
Peace.